The monument of General William Tecumseh Sherman is located in Grand Army Plaza in Central Park. General Sherman was one of the most revered Union generals of the Civil War and was largely credited with ending the Civil War by blazing a war trail and dispersing the Confederate Army. Sherman's southern warpath led to the seizing of Atlanta, Georgia, and the surrender of the Confederate General Robert E. Lee. After Sherman's death, the piece was commissioned by members of the City Chamber of Commerce, many of whom were his close friends. The monument was the last great work of sculptor Augustus St. Gaudens. The monument was unveiled on Memorial Day 1903 and was a widely praised piece. The William Tecumseh Sherman Monument is a crowning achievement of the City Beautiful movement that symbolizes the valor of Sherman and the Union, and whose renovations represent the debate between age value and newness value. Over 3 dozen Civil War monuments are scattered across New York City. The best examples honor the commanders of Union forces. The Civil War memorials coincide with the flowering of American sculpture, known as the Golden Age, and the City Beautiful movement. Gaudens was a preeminent sculptor of the Gilded Age of American art, and with the Sherman statue, Gaudens wanted to promote the aesthetic ideal of the City Beautiful movement. The movement began at the end of the 19th century, a time when cities were overcrowded, poor, and full of badly built infrastructure. Systematic urban planning and beautification were used to try to address urban problems. This resulted in the building of well-designed and carefully arranged buildings embellished by public monuments and parks. Sculptors claim that monuments placed in public could serve to improve the morals of citizens through the portrayal of uplifting and inspiring subject matter using classical style and technique, the traditional European combo of art and architecture, but with the American sensibility, often inspired the style of these sculptures. This aesthetic ideal is apparent in the structure and form of the General Sherman Monument. It is built gilded in beautiful gold in the equestrian style. Equestrian statues typically portrayed military commanders or leaders. One of the oldest and most famous equestrian-style statues is the equestrian statue of Marcus Aurelius. In the Middle Ages came the famous wood carving St. George and the Dragon by Bernd Nottke. During the Italian Renaissance, the equestrian classical portraiture was reintroduced by Donatello with his work Equestrian Statue of Gattamelata, a portrait of the mercenary Erasmo de Narni. Equestrians became popular once more in the Baroque and Neoclassical periods, with works like the Bronze Horseman and the equestrian statue of Joseph II. What they all have in common is a military or political leader on horseback striding forward, appearing powerful. During the era of modern art, equestrian sculpture gradually faded as horses were replaced by motor vehicles. They are now scarce but highly valued. Since General Sherman was a war hero, it is fitting he is portrayed on horseback in his neoclassical equestrian piece. The woman leading Sherman looks like a Greek goddess, a figure that became very popular in neoclassical transformation of the Indian princess found throughout an early American artwork. The Indian princess has been used in American artwork to portray ideals of liberty, federal union, and opportunity. During the neoclassical movement, artists borrowed from Greco-Roman mythology by using old figures to create new ones, representing the United States. The plumaged Greek goddess is really just an Indian princess who traded eagle feathers for ostrich plumes worn in a bonnet and is wearing a Greco-Roman robe. The woman in Sherman's monument represents victory, and the palm branch on her left arm represents peace, as she is leading the Civil War hero away from war and onto a future of unity and peace for the nation. The pine branch at Sherman's feet represents his march through Georgia and their absolute defeat. Gaudens based the monument on a previous bust of Sherman. While creating this bust, Gaudens heard numerous stories of Sherman's victories and heroism, and came to admire the man. His admiration is evident in the themes portrayed on the monument. General Sherman continues to march through Georgia years later, but the monument became corroded and the gold leaf peeled away. It was dull, streaked, and pockmarked from years of facing the elements. So much gold eroded that it looked like a work of tarnished brass. In 1989, a renovation project began to restore Sherman's valor. However, it left him too blindingly gold, and the visitors to the monument were not pleased. Sherman needed more tonality, so he was left to age again and then regilded once more. But this time, the new coating of gold was applied with a solvent of tinted colors to give the monument a slightly aged appearance. In the beginning, the Sherman Monument had newness value, because the gold leafing was visually pleasing. For newness value to be maintained, continuous restoration is necessary, making it the biggest opponent of age value. With age value, something is valuable because it is old. However, this means that to maintain a value, a structure must be left to decay. Sherman's monument was caught between the two. He wasn't as victorious as he could be, yet he couldn't appear too victorious. Thus, in the end, use value won out. The monument is maintained in good enough condition to accommodate people without endanger of its decomposition. This is one of the most beautiful Civil War monuments to come out of the City Beautiful movement. Sherman's valor and legend are represented through his likeness on horseback, while the theme of the Union's larger victory as a whole over the Confederacy is represented through the allegorical theme of the goddess leading Sherman forward.